Hey guys, I am back again, and this time we're going to kind of talk about a few different things. I'm actually recording this on President's Day, which is a US holiday celebrating all presidents of the United States, traditionally celebrated on George Washington's birthday. Okay, now I got the tea, which I've been looking for, so now I can go to fight Team Rocket again and get Lapras. So what I was going to say is today's President's Day. I'm recording this on February 20th, and yay, I get to go through. But I wanted to talk today about the fact that February is Black History Month, and I find it super important that as a society we pay attention to all history, and Black history is important in its own way because of the oppression they went through with slavery and with the Civil Rights Movement, and especially after the war, because we kind of forget the period between the Civil War and the Civil Rights Movement. That time period is called Reconstruction, and Reconstruction is super, I don't want to say devastating, but it is devastating to African Americans because during Reconstruction, it was another form of slavery. They create Jim Crow in the South, where it was totally okay for people to treat African Americans like they were still slaves because they were still seen as slaves by many, and that really pissed me off. Yeah, sorry, I shouldn't have gotten to this gym yet. I need to grind up, definitely, but I will, and a little bit. But what ends up happening during Reconstruction is slaves weren't taught to read and write, so when they were freed, they're supposed to sign these contracts to work on the plantations where they used to work. And because they're supposed to sign these contracts, they actually don't read them. They don't know how to read them. So they end up becoming slaves to the plantation owners once again, who now have total control over their life. They have to work for pretty much pennies on the dollar. And it's another form of slavery. It's the newest form of slavery, I should say. Why did I use helping hand? Because I wasn't paying attention. And with this new form of slavery, a lot of these slaves end up getting killed. And then you have the Great Exodusters, which is a mass movement of African Americans from the South to the North to try to find more jobs across the Mississippi. And the Exoduster movement really annoys a lot of the Southern plantation owners because now they have to pay working wages to whites who they have to now get to work on their lands because all the blacks have left. Which a lot of people are like, oh, well, it was a good thing, but for the white plantation owners, it wasn't. So they started treating African Americans even worse. Now, you also have tension between the North and the South during this time period, where you have what the South calls carpet dusters come down. These are white people from the North who are trying to help the African Americans of the South by teaching them how to read, how to write, what they need to do to survive in the real world where they don't have to be slaves to somebody. And there also is something called the Freeman's Bureau. Now, the Freeman's Bureau was created to help African Americans, especially in the South, to learn how to read and write, to open schools, to make equal rights for them in some way. Give them that opportunity of work and understanding of the world around them. And with that, a lot of these northern whites were attacked by southerners who said that they were affecting their way of life and that they didn't need to be there. And with these attacks, you start to see a lot of, I don't want to say nasty events come about, but it really was very nasty for many of these people because they were killed. There's going to be a lot of bloodshed between the North and the South when it comes to this. Can't go in there, can't go in there. I have to try to remember where I have to go. I think I have to head down to where the other gym is. Which means I have to go through this one, maybe? Yes, I did the right one. Yeah, and by the way, guys, I actually do this without looking at any of my teaching notes. So this is all from memory, which is super impressive to me, at least. I guess that's the best way to explain it. But when you have this tension between the North and the South, and you have the attacks between the two factions, you also have this group, this identity within the South. Oh, well, we are superior because we are Southerners, and you've just destroyed our way of life. And this is where, at least in the Americas, you a lot of times will hear the South will rise again. That phrase comes from the idea that the Civil War was a war that was never really ended. It was just forced to end. So a lot of people in the South do feel like they were, I don't want to say screwed over, but in a way they feel like they deserve another shot at trying to defeat the North. I have to figure out where the Poke Flute is. I may have to look that up. Whoops. It's been a while since I played these games. Even though we have the the downloadable console, I actually haven't completed that either. Because I just started playing Sun and Moon and I was like, I'll finish this later. Kind of now want to finish it because I want to see what the Pokemon I have transfer over as. Hi. Yeah, I'm running past all these trainers because I want to figure out where I get the flute. Okay, hold on real quick, guys. Okay, guys, so I figured out I am in the wrong location altogether. I should actually have gone to the Sylph Tower, but oh well. Lesson learned. Because now I have the Sylph Scope. I forgot I got that last time I played. So let's go there and get that done. I'm also going to be training up certain Pokemon. I want to get Arbok to level 30, who is actually named Booth after John Wilkes Booth, the assassin of... No, don't be confused. Dang it. Okay, you know what? Pokemon. He's named after John Wilkes Booth, who is the assassin of Abraham Lincoln. No. No. I'm just going to use you to finish everybody off. So when I'm talking about like the Civil War and the after effects of the Civil War, this is a time period I really did study a lot of, just because I enjoy that time period a lot. And I find it very interesting, like, the civil strife within this time period is different from most time periods in American history, just because when you're looking at what's going on in the Civil War, you're looking at a time period where a lot of people were angry and upset over the fact that they lost their perceptive freedom for what they were doing, because they didn't see a problem with owning slaves in the South. Back then, to them, that was normal. And because of that, a lot of people took a resentment towards the North coming in and saying, oh, you can't own slaves, you can't do this, you can't do that. And with that, you're going to see a lot of tension build between the North and the South, because the South feels like they were robbed and the North feels like they were doing the right thing, because a lot of people in the North did not agree with slavery. They thought it was a horrible practice, but in the South it was called their peculiar institution. And with that peculiar institution, you have a lot of tension, because a lot of the nation felt, the abolitionists at least, they felt that slavery was an offense to God, because they didn't feel like God wanted us to own other human beings. I hate grass for that reason. I'm glad it's confused. Bye-bye. So they felt it was an offense to God to own other human beings, because they didn't feel like God ever meant for us to own another person. So with that, a lot of the people who fought against slavery were abolitionists who were religious people. One of the most famous, of course, being John Brown, who leads a raid on Harper's Ferry, which fails to lead to a slave revolt. And with John Brown, he becomes like a hero of the abolitionists. He will actually hang. And when he hangs, the reason why he hangs is for kind of attacking the federal government. And there's actually a song written about him, which I'm trying to remember the name of, but I really don't. He will actually be hanged in Charlestown, West Virginia, December 2nd, 1859. Interesting fact about that is I actually had a professor who was from Charlestown, and the old jail is now their post office, and his dad was the postmaster, so he used to tell him that if he misbehaved, he'd put him in the jail at the bottom of the post office to hang out with the ghost of John Brown. Funny part is he's a professor of Civil War, so I kind of feel like that really did influence him in some way. And he was like one of my favorite professors for my graduate studies. Like, I really did love him. And maybe we could catch Ghastly if I do this right. It's male. I already have a name picked out for it. As soon as I catch it, I'll tell you the name, and I'll tell you the significance behind the name. Yeah, I keep nightshading. No. No, no, no. Dang it. Yes. I don't want to poison powder it because I don't want it to die, so let me try a Pokeball. No. You know what? Oh shoot, it doesn't affect it. Let's try one more Pokeball. Yes. Now I just have to look up how to spell the name. Give me a second. Ha! Found it. So this name is significant because of who he is. This Pokemon is going to be named after the world's leading demonologist who is not an ordained priest. And let me spell it out, and then I'll tell you who it is. Okay, so Ed Warren is the world's leading demonologist who is not an ordained priest. He's actually just a man who decided to give his life to helping people who are either possessed or haunted. Him and his wife Lorraine are very famous for the cases they've worked on. They are the ones who worked on the Amityville Horror, Annabelle, the Enfield Poltergeist. They've been in so many cases. Ed Warren unfortunately passed away, I think like 3 or 4 years ago. But with his ability in demonology, he became very famous for his works and how he helped people who were really in need of help, because some of the situations these people ended up in were absolutely crazy. One of the cases they were working on actually was of a girl who accidentally summoned a demon into her home because her parents bought her summoning books for Christmas because she was really into the occult, and it started to really destroy the whole family's life. The house became very haunted and paranormal activity started happening. And I know a lot of people don't really believe in that, but my whole thing is I'd rather be cautious and not have that happen to me than have it happen to me. I think the best example I've recently seen... Oh, shoot, I hit the wrong move. Well, at least I hit the wrong move and it took away PP on just that move. But if you guys don't know who FaZe Rain is on YouTube, I definitely check him out because he's been having a lot of issues with ghosts in his house. And I do believe that there's something out there. I don't know what. I'm not the type of person who's going to force religion on people, but at the same time, I'm not the type of person who's going to risk anything. And let's get all these Pokeballs, because I want all the balls. I'm not going to fight Ghastly, because it's a wild Ghastly. But going back to what I was talking about before with the Civil War and everything like that, oh yay. We can just fight her. If you guys want some good Civil War movies, like actually during the war, The two I really highly suggest are Glory and Lincoln. Glory has Denzel Washington and Morgan Freeman. They are a part of a African American unit during the Civil War, who they end up getting pretty much wiped out by the South, because during the Civil War, if the Confederates found an all-black unit, they would on purpose wipe them out, because they wanted to show their dominance over African Americans still, and they felt like that was the best way to do it, which is absolutely a horrible practice in my opinion, but it happened a lot. So because of that, Glory's a really good movie in that way. I really enjoyed watching it. It's hard to watch at some points in times because of the violence, but it's not the worst hard war movie to watch. And Lincoln, which was released a few years back, I really like how they portray Lincoln. They really give him like this humanistic characteristic, and you really see his thought process in trying to fight the Civil War and trying to deal with everything that's going on. With the states breaking up, you have to fight the North and the South fighting each other. You really have all this craziness in his life, and then you have his son dying, and you see the devastation within Lincoln, but you also see like how he starts to walk, because Lincoln had Marfan syndrome, so he was super tall because he had a tumor on his pituitary gland, which kept him growing and growing and growing and growing. And because of all this, Lincoln was extremely tall for his time. I think they changed his height recently. It went from being like 6'4" to like 6'8" or something. Like, he was ridiculously tall for that time. And the reason why he ends up getting facial hair is because he sent out an open letter saying, okay, what do I need to win an election? And a woman wrote back to him saying, if he grew facial whiskers, women would bug their husbands into voting for you. So that's exactly what he did, is he grew facial hair because the woman said, oh, well, women will start bugging their husbands to vote for you, therefore you will get more votes and become more popular. And it's exactly what he did, and he ended up winning the election. Lincoln was definitely a dark horse candidate, and what's really interesting is Abraham Lincoln was voted in on a 0 year, and him and JFK actually do have some weird connections, which I'll talk more about later on. Sorry, somebody just texted me and I had to text them back real quick. X accuracy. Now, Abraham Lincoln died April 15th, 1865, in Ford's Theater when he was shot in the back of the head by John Wilkes Booth, who then escaped, which I am listening to a really good book. I'm going to hold my review of this book off until I finish it, which I'll probably finish it before the next episode I record, because I only record these once a week because I really want to like actually think about what I want to talk about. And definitely it's a different feel to listen to a book where it's not focused on the death of Abraham Lincoln, it's actually focused on the manhunt for John Wilkes Booth and all the things that Booth did to try to escape, and how many people he got to help him with his plan, because it's really crazy. I'm going to use that right now. Bag. Where I can. Oh, I have 2 of them. You know what? Ooh, I'm now going to get a primate. Timmy has evolved. Yay, Timmy! Yes. No. Oops. Oh wait, no, that was the right Pokemon, never mind. Yay, Timmy evolved. Now we're going to fight this Ghost of Marowak. Attack. Yeah, I don't think you were gonna do much. Oops. Yes, let's use you. Water Pulse. It's kind of sad that you can't catch this Marowak either. But Lincoln's death is part of a very long curse called the 0 year curse. which says that every president voted in on a 0 year is going to die in office because, well, this Native American tribe put the curse on because they felt jaded by the US government. And with that kind of slight, they decided, you know what, we are going to curse the president to die. And the president who will break that curse actually will be Ronald Reagan. Let's try cut. Okay. How did you miss? Pokemon. I hate when it misses. And with Ronald Reagan defeating the curse, you have no more 0 year curse, which is really good. And I'm just going to leave you out so you could just deal with it. I'm gonna have to run back downstairs to heal up. Let's run downstairs and heal. No. And the reason why Ronald Reagan supposedly broke the curse is because he went to see a psychic who warned him. So he put extra safety measures in place, which is pretty crazy, but I guess it worked for him. And with that kind of concept of like curses and evil things in the White House, there actually is a rumor that there's a demon cat in the belly of the White House that will randomly come out and start attacking people, but that thing's only seen when there's immense danger coming towards the White House in any way. Run. I should have bought repels. I also need to buy Pokeballs, which I'll do at the end of this episode because I do want to catch as many Pokemon as possible. That wasn't a question, that was a statement. I don't know why I made it sound like a question. But yeah, and I hope you guys do enjoy learning about history as much as I do, because I can go on for hours about this stuff, and I have a lot of fun recording these episodes just because, well, it's something a little bit different, and I feel like it is something fun to do. No. Oh, Cubone. Thunder Wave. Oh wait, no, it wouldn't affect it. Perfect. Bag. Pokeball. I have a name for this one too. No. Okay. Give me 1 second, guys. I have to remember the name of this person. Okay, guys, so the name I was trying to remember was Lizzie Borden, which I don't think her full name will fit, so I'm just going to put her last name. If you don't know who Lizzie Borden is, she is the woman accused of killing her mother and father, her stepmother and father, with an axe, and supposedly her house is haunted by her murdered parents. And there's a rhyme to it. Lizzie Borden took an axe, gave her father 40 whacks. When she saw what she had done, she gave her mother 41. But she was actually never convicted of the crime, so it's a mystery to many people who are like, well, did she actually do it? Did she not? We don't entirely know for 100% sure if she did or not, but more than likely she did end up killing her parents with a axe. That's pretty much, we can all agree on that. And it is pretty interesting to think about it because she was accused of that like back in the the late 1800s. She was never convicted of it. But yeah, I mean, the fact that the whole town thought she was guilty and she continued to live there as if nothing happened, and nobody was ever convicted of the murders of her parents was pretty interesting, because a lot of people thought she did it and nothing ever came of it. Lizzie Borden is a pretty unique case if you want to look it up. But, I mean, it's an interesting Pokemon to get. And then, bye-bye. Perfect. Yes, I am. And we freed the mother, and now let's talk to Fuji again. Perfect. Now let's heal up. Now I'm gonna get some Pokeballs. I'm gonna go for a little bit more. I may go back and, you know, I'm gonna go back and challenge that gym and see if I can actually win against that gym. Great Ball. Let's buy... See ya. Bye. Alright, so I've got Great Balls, which means I can capture Pokemon, which probably means I should switch to somebody else in the front. Let's switch to you. Kind of do want to capture maybe a Vulpix or some fire type, because I don't have any quite yet. No. See if I can find one. Boom, Meowth. Poison Powder. Really? You're gonna miss? Now I'm just gonna switch because I don't want to kill it. Now I'm just gonna throw a Pokeball at it. Wow, that was an easy capture. I'm gonna name you Dolly after Dolly Madison, which is one of our president's wives. She is the first woman to live in the White House. And yes, her name actually is Dolly. That's not the Pokemon I was going for. Still not the Pokemon I'm going for. There we go. Now we have a fire type. And I know what I'm gonna name you. Hot Bag. Let's see if he's easy to catch. Nope. Perfect. Give me 1 second, guys. So the guy I'm naming him this after, he is the guy who invented the flamethrower. I had to look up how to spell his name because, again, being dyslexic sometimes sucks. His name is Richard Flinders. He will invent the flamethrower around 1901 for the German army. D-L-E-R. Perfect. So this is the guy who invented the flamethrower. Now I have a fire type Pokemon and I'm now happy. I will have to buy a Firestone eventually and I will evolve it, but for right now I'm gonna run back through here, heal up real quick, and then try and, ooh, I can also start on the tower. You know what, first I want to challenge that gym and then I will take on the tower, at least start to. Maybe get through the first floor. Because, well, it'll be fun. Yes, Karate Man. Let's take you down. Poison powder. No! Well, at least I poisoned it. Well, that did nothing to it. Man, this is a strong Pokemon. Water Pulse. Took that out. Very nice. Very, very nice. But yeah, I do have a lot of fun talking about history. If you guys don't know, if you're new to my channel or whatever, no. My gosh, that's a really strong Pokemon. Let's lower your attack. Bite. Not very effective. Thank you. Let's wrap you too. So much damage it's gonna take each turn. Bite. Let's switch out to you. But what I was about to say is I actually did compete and win for National History Fair. I know a lot of people have to do that. Yes, paralyze it. Then thunder. Wave. Oh well. And with the fact that I did history fair and I did end up winning and going to nationals, I have a true love of history. One of my favorite types of history was always the underdog. The one I went to nationals with was actually about a Jewish officer in the French army who was convicted of selling secrets to Germany before World War I started about French tanks, and he actually didn't. It was actually some Christian guy. His name was Alfred Dreyfus, and you guys may recognize the last name because we do have two movie actors who are related to him, Richard Dreyfuss and Julia Louise-Dreyfus. Both of them are related to him in some way. And the guy who actually did it, his name was Major Esterhazy. Man, I'm so underleveled for this. But at least I can poison you. Razor Leaf. Wow, that did a lot. You're gonna die to poison. Or almost die to poison. Or you're just gonna die in general. Well, no. I got both of them poisoned. And now it dies. Okay, let's try you. Great. Well, at least it died before I did. Yes. I'm just gonna name this one after Bruce Lee. Just because I do actually enjoy his movies and his son's movies, Brandon Lee, who ended up dying while recording the movie The Crow because a bullet got lodged in a prop gun, and when they went to shoot it off, it ended up killing him. Which is where I'm going to end off the episode today. So if you guys like, please leave a like, put a comment down below, answer the question of the day. I'm so glad you guys are enjoying this series. And guys, leave me suggestion topics for me to talk about history. Anything you want to know, just leave it down below. Bye, guys.